Hello, my friends, and welcome back. So, I'm sorry, I've been gone for a while. I know. Had some stuff going on. I had some computer issues I had to address. Ended up getting a new graphics card. Do you guys want? I mean, do you just want me to focus entirely on Flesh and Blood, or do you want me to kind of diversify and maybe do some like gameplay videos of like video games, stuff like that? I mean, I still don't know what I'm doing with the channel. I want it to be mostly Flesh and Blood, but I kind of think I do want to like throw in some other stuff. If that's something you're interested in, especially if you're a subscriber, let me know. But without further ado, I have a pretty cool thing to bring for you guys today. It is a Valda deck that relies a lot on Sift. So, in case anybody has not played Valda, which I remember when Valda first came out, I created a bunch of decks, like especially around the chess piece, the Earthlore Bounty, because they just such a fun interaction, right? So every time you draw a card from the effect of an action card, which is important, it is a thing to note. So things like Sink Below, they are reactions, so they're not action cards. So you won't gain a Seismic Surge token from the card draw from Sink Below. Same thing for like Crown of Providence, stuff like that. So that is something to keep in mind when kind of playtesting or building a deck for Valda. I did include Sink Below here anyways because it's phenomenal, and I don't think enough people play Defense Reactions and Blitz. So I only have 2 here, which is probably less than I should, but you're hopefully going to be on the more aggressive side with this deck. So one thing I thought would be funny to do is I put 2 Titan's Fists in here. So I mean, that's literally just for the meme. I mean, so technically you can run 2 Titan's Fists, right? 1 in each hand. But the problem is you have to have an action point in order to do anything with it. So, oh, you know what we can do? We can add... Let's add these bad boys, Time Skippers. So we can possibly swing twice with 2 Titan's Fists. So, because I had an extra slot in the deck. But, yeah. Yeah, you can run 2 Titan's Fists. Maybe we can make a deck where you just run 2 Titan's Fists and, you know, like dual wield hammers, and it's all like time snap potions and you know, time skippers and stuff that refunds action points from swinging your weapon or something, you know. I don't know, that would be dumb. Same deal actually for the Sledge of Anvilheim. This is one of the few weapons in the game that does not have once per turn action attack. So if you can gain 2 action points and have 8 resources on top of that, you can swing Sledge of Anvilheim twice for 12 damage, which is interesting. But anyways, let's get into the deck. So your whole deck is kind of built around your Earthlore Bounty, which says whenever you draw a card from the effect of an action card, create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. And it has temper, so it will blow up if you block with it twice. But Valda also says whenever an opponent draws a card during an action phase. So this can be essentially saying anytime they draw a card aside from when you would traditionally draw it at your upkeep, more or less. But basically, whenever your opponent is going to draw a card, you create a Seismic Surge token for each card drawn this way. So, you know, things that you can force your opponent to draw a card with this round's on me, stuff like that. You would gain essentially 2 Seismic Surge tokens, 1 for your draw and 1 for their draw. But it also says, and this is the more important part, especially for this deck, is at the start of your turn, if you control 3 or more Seismic Surge tokens, cards you own will, with Crush, gain Dominate this turn. So, in case you're unfamiliar with Seismic Surge tokens, they say that your next Guardian attack action card, so at the beginning of your action phase, they pop, and then it reduces the cost of your next attack action, Guardian attack action card by however many Seismic Surge tokens you had. So the goal here with this deck is we're going to run a lot of 3-cost Guardian attack action cards, and you know, a few other ones like Cranial Crush is just good because it's a blue that, you know, attacks for 8. I mean, it does cost 6, which is unfortunate, but it also blocks for 3. So most of the time with Cranial Crush, you're going to be pitching and blocking with it. But it does have a cool crush effect. You can dominate it potentially if you have, you know, a bunch of Seismic Surge tokens, and also has a really cool crush effect where it makes your opponents not able to draw cards during their next action phase, which is counterintuitive against our, you know, our ability, but it's just such a good card that it just makes sense to run it here. But then the rest of them are just all three cost Guardian attack action cards. And then, like I said, a few other ones. I think Debilitate's pretty good. Macho Grande is literally just here for pitch and block, honestly. But, you know, Conditional 8 Dominate is still pretty good for blue card. Unconditional, I'm sorry. Unconditional blue card with 8 Dominate on it is just good. Mangle is also another one that's really good, especially for disrupting your opponent's kind of like game plan. And then Thunderquake is one of the most interesting cards on here. So when Everfest came out, there was several cards that have heat. There are several cards that have heave on them. So Thunderquake being one of them, and then Pulverize is the other one that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm only including this one here because it pitches for blue. I think Pulverize is too costly, plus it doesn't have Crush on it, so we can't dominate it. But, so this one also does not have Crush on it, so we can't give this Dominate either. But creating 3 Seismic Surge tokens by putting this into your arsenal will set you up to play from hand next turn, one of your big attack action cards. So that's the only reason we have it here. Once you put this in the arsenal, though, it's probably going to be stuck in your arsenal for forever because you're not going to pay 6 to get it out. So keep that in mind. Be careful with that. Some of the other kind of core cards. So Anethos is going to be good here because you're probably going to play Blessing of Deliverance pretty often. So Blessing of Deliverance, you know, you're going to pitch a blue to this, and then you're going to pitch another blue for Anethos. So then you trigger Anethos as well. So you're swinging for 6. So for essentially 5 pitch, you're getting drawing a card, possibly gaining a life, creating a Seismic Surge token, and then swinging for 6. That's pretty good. Also revealing the top 3 cards of your deck. So that's good for you and bad for you. So take that with a grain of salt. Like I said, the only defense reactions we included here were Sink Below. Your equipment's pretty straightforward. Your Arcane Lantern is to go with Titan's Fist. You're probably not going to run into a lot of arcane damage, but I wanted at least one instance of it. So that's the only arcane barrier we have. We might want to switch some of the stuff out. Like probably the Time Skippers is just a meme, and then the other Titans we'll swap out for some Null Runes. We'll have arcane barrier 3. Let's go ahead and do that. That way we can have arcane barrier 3 at least. So I guess the ones that would probably be the best to swap out would be your Boots and your Gauntlet. So also another thing I included here that I don't see a lot of people running in Valda is the Goliath Gauntlets. So this is to hopefully try to finish off your opponent if you can get a big dominated attack. You gotta kind of pick and choose your battles here. So by picking Goliath Gauntlet, you're getting 2 damage, but you're also giving up 2 block from Crater Fist. So you're never ever going to use the ability on Crater Fist. So it's literally just 2 block. So take that with a grain of salt. And then the non-attack action cards that we have included here are all, generally speaking, around generating Seismic Surges or drawing cards. So Blessing of Deliverance, like I said, it draws you a card because almost all your cards are going to cost 3 or more. So if you pitch any of these blues here, or even any of the reds, as well as a lot of this other stuff like Embolden, stuff like that, you're going to draw a card, create a Seismic Surge, and then you'll gain a life probably at the beginning of your next turn. So that's why we have those 2 here. I didn't run the yellows because I didn't think it was necessary. The red is good because it could potentially gain you 3 life. The blue is good because it's blue. Embolden, I don't know if I'm actually going to keep this in here, if we're going to cut it. So it says, it has Go Again, it costs 4, it does block for 3, and it does pitch for blue. But it says, when it enters the arena, if you control another non-token aura, draw a card. So hopefully we're going to be going for a Blessing of Deliverance and then into Embolden. And it says, at the beginning of your action phase, destroy this card, and the next Guardian attack action card you play this turn gains +3. So the kind of like picture perfect ideal situation is start off with Sift, put away your 3 cards from hand. You're gonna create your 3 Seismic Surge tokens. You're gonna play Blessing of Deliverance and Embolden. Pitch your other 2 cards. Well, you're gonna have to play one of these from Arsenal. Pitch your other 2 cards into this, and then at the beginning of your next turn, you have 5 Seismic Surge tokens. Your next attack is going to be with Crush is going to be Dominated, and it's going to get +3. And then you can pop your your Goliath Gauntlet, basically hit them for just a truck ton of damage, drawing cards, gaining life. It's going to be so good. Or I guess you won't have to play this from Arsenal because you're going to draw a card from the Blessing of Deliverance. So then maybe you'll draw into an Embolden. And then you'll have another card to like maybe Arsenal if you happen to draw like your Debilitate or your Mangle or something that costs like 5. But you're probably never going to see that. These are just there for the card draw mostly. Like I said, this is going to be a pitch and block card probably most of the time because it's just so conditional. But on the off chance you do get it off, it does feel pretty good. Potion of Luck is interesting here, right? So this is an action card. It pitches for blue, which is also great. It's an item, so you have to play the item. It's going to take your whole action point to play the item, but it has an instant speed ability that says destroy Potion of Luck, shuffle your hand and arsenal into your deck, and then draw that many cards. So basically what you're doing is you're dumping your hand and arsenal all into your deck, drawing 5 cards, or however many cards you have in hand and arsenal, so probably 5 cards, creating 5 Seismic Surge tokens. Pretty great. Granting your next turn's attack Dominate. Or you can do this if you kept all 5 cards. You can do this at the beginning of your turn. Like say you draw and all you have is like Tome of Fyendal, Tear Asunder, and you have a bunch of Seismic Surges pop, and you don't have anything to like attack with. You can also use Potion of Luck with that. This red Seismic Stir, I don't know. I don't know about this. I'm probably gonna cut this as well because I mean, there's better things to do with 2 resources. You're going to be creating enough Seismic Surge tokens with the rest of your deck, hopefully. But it's 2 costs. It does have Go Again, which is nice. But it creates your 3 Seismic Surge tokens to give your next turn's attack Dominate. Sift is the MVP of this deck, though. So Sift, the red, you can play this from Arsenal and actually use the full effect of the card. But it says put up to 4 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck, then draw that many cards. So if you have this at the end of your turn, you arsenal it, you play it, put all 4 cards back, and then at the beginning of the next turn, you can get a Mangle or Debilitate or any of your attack actions, with the exception of Thunderquake and Mantra Grande, for free with Dominate. So it's pretty good. And then the yellow says put up to 3 cards from your hand on the bottom of your deck. This is good. If this is a better version because it pitches for yellow in theory, but this is good if this card is in your hand because you're wasting a slot essentially if you play the red pitch from hand and you only have 4 intellect. So that's what that's for. Tear Asunder is just in case you have extra resources on the turn when you swing with your big attack. You can use this. You can also use this with Anethos. It gives Anethos Dominate, and then if it hits, they discard 2 cards. But this is mostly a win more card in this deck, so we might swap this out. I think it's gonna stay because it blocks for 3, it pitches for 3, and it's just a good card, especially for the generic Guardians because they don't have access to some of the cooler Dominate effects. And then finally, the last card in here is Tome of Fyendal. This card is why you run Mage Master Boots. So this does not have Go Again. It's a generic action card. And it says draw 2 cards, and if it's played from Arsenal, you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. So, if the turn before you, well, yeah, basically, I thought about putting in the Helm of Eisen's Peak that lets you gain an intellect, but I just don't think that's good in this deck, especially compared to something like Crown of Providence. So you're probably at the most going to be drawing or gaining 6 life, or not even 6 life, I guess 5 life, because you're gonna have to pitch to play this card. But yeah, I mean, like I said, deck's pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty good. I'm excited to play more of it. I played a little bit of it and was absolutely killing it with this deck. But let me know if you guys get a chance to play it. What do you think of the deck? I'll include the deck link in the description of this video, and then let me know what you want to see on the channel. Are you interested in seeing me play some games? I've been playing Dinkum I actually recorded a video, but I decided not to upload it because I didn't want to pollute the channel with non-flesh and blood or 3D printed. I feel like I don't want to cast my net too wide because I don't want to lose people's interest. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate every single time you guys watch the videos. Every single minute you spend watching the video really means the world to me. All of my subscribers, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know I've been gone for a while, so I apologize for that. But hopefully we'll get more content coming out for you guys. I've got 4 box openings, I think. I've got 3 Uprising videos and then 1 Double Masters 2022 that I recorded, and I tried to upload, but they wouldn't upload for some reason. I was trying to upload from my phone, so once again, technical difficulties. But yeah, I'll get some more content for you guys to enjoy. So I hope you have a great one, and hope to see you in the next one.